I was telling everybody to go hit *6 and to kind of mute yourself out so you can muffle your keyboard or your phone calls coming in. And I forgot that some of you, most of you, are on the speaker in your office. So somehow, I don't know if you're on piece of your mic, but somehow remember that when you talk, you're going to be picked up on the microphone on your computer. So you might want to go to your settings and mute that if you can, so we can have a clear line. Also, FYI, just if you ever do these yourself, people, they tell you that headphones and cell phones aren't good for the clarity of the communication. So just if you know that, if we have some background noise or background echoes, it could be because of cell phones or headphones. I've talked to you in the past about free conference call, and a couple of you have tried it to your satisfaction. It's freeconferencecall.com, and I use it when I'm not on this webinar program. And it's a recorded bridge line. You can get a lot of people on the phone, and you can even get your family on, and it's kind of a fun bridge line, party line, if you will. But I bring that up today because they just came out with a new service. I'm checking it out, and that is you can record like PowerPoints, and you can voice over the PowerPoint very easily. So you have like a 5-minute presentation with pictures on your PowerPoints and your audio, and then you can save that and send it to people. So it's kind of like what we do up on our website here. I record these meetings with the slideshow and the audio, and then you can go up and watch it whenever you want. Well, if you're interested in this new software, you can put little programs together for your clients. You know, a 3-minute, 5-minute PowerPoint with you speaking over the pictures, if you will, over the slides, and then you can send it to people in your database or people who are interested. So it's a freeconferencecall.com. Go check that out, and it might be something of interest to some of you. It might not be, but it might be. So there you go. Okay, let's go to slide 1 here before we open up to the open mic. This I did not ask permission. I took the person's name off the top of this. Doesn't make any difference, but I wanted to use this slide as an example, folks. This was off this person's website, and it was why should you use us? That was the banner up top was why you should use us. And notice the headings. It was experience, budget, free consultation, destination specialist, time, service, communication, available, reliability, and passion. Now, I just want to use this as a lesson. As Oli said the other day on our Facebook group page, he said that Mike manages to find lessons. I got a chuckle out of that, Oli. But let's look at this. Now, this is a real live example. Now, this is why you, the client, you, the prospect, you, the neighbor, you, the cousin, you, the relative, this is why you should consider using me. Now, remember, folks, and I want you to go look at all your stuff after this, I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in me. So if you're talking to me, then I think you should put you into the writings versus I or we. Now take a look at this. Number 1, what's the first word? Our, me. Budget, we, me. Third one, we, that's me. Look at the fourth one, our, that's me. Now time is you. Okay, that's good. Look at 6, we. Look at 7, that's good, you. 8, we. 9, we. 10, we. What they did is out of 10 samples, they talked about us 8 out of 10 times. And the challenge, the exercise here is to, how can, if I want to say this, how can I flip it around so the person knows they're talking about you? Let's look at experience just for an example. You can benefit from our experience. So you can benefit from our 30 years in the business. Okay, so budget.
I'll say,
I think that's Andy. Andy, I think that's you in the background. Andy, see if you can mute your microphone for us.
The one that,
number two. Number two is budget. Also, it says we can find a special vacation. Well,
all pretty much to be separate except for different.
Hey, and Andy, can you hear me? All right. Two is budget. Now, you're concerned about spending money. So I know you're concerned about spending money. So you can say your budget for your vacation, and then you can comment on that. You know, we're cognizant. Your budget is very important to us. We're cognizant of the fact. So again, you can flip that over to say, I understand that money is important for you, but try to flip it and say your monetary constraints is a key factor when planning a trip, and we take that into consideration. So the point is, see how you can flip that so it's more you-oriented and not me. Now, when you write sales letters, another little editing process is to go down through your sales letter after you're finished and count how many times you use the word I, we, or us in it, and see if you can say the same thing by flipping it over to the person you're talking to. Okay. Does everybody understand what I just did here and what I suggested?
Yes.
All right. Just an exercise that came up today that I think is important. Now, yesterday, boy, I was really surprised. A lot of you folks jumped on this dentist thing yesterday, and here's how it happened. I get a phone call from it was an email from a guy who got one of my travel-related program emails and said, "Do you do anything with dentists?" And I know, and for the years, folks, over the years, people would come up to me and say, do you do nurses? Do you do high schools? Do you do police departments? Because my message is pretty generic. My message is people and sales and marketing. So I don't care what you're selling. It's generic. So they said, do you do anything with dentists? And so I decided to throw out to the group this exercise that I initiated years ago with the hot dog stand post 9/11. And what happens? The theory behind this is this: it's easier to raise your neighbor's kids. You know, it's easier for me to tell you how you should handle your children versus how I treat my children. It's easier. The third party is always easier. Well, it's easier for us to come up with great ideas on how to run a dentist office than it is to run a travel business. So this kind of gets us in the thinking process of, if I could do this for dentists, what do I do for me? All right, now we're going to have to, folks, we're going to have to learn how to mute our computers if you're going to run business behind us now. All right? You're going to have to do this, or we're going to cancel this meeting. I don't want to be talking over people in their offices. Now, if you're running business behind us, wait for the recording. It's not fair to the others. Okay, so it's easier to run a dentist office than it is to run a travel industry, but it's not. You can run your business. Come up with these ideas and try things. And I'm going to share all of the ideas we came. Once the deadline's over tomorrow morning, I'm going to share this with you to show you that it'll trigger your imagination. This is what you do for a dentist. Well, the heck with the dentist. Do it for yourself. Run your own business. Your eating habits are more important than this guy's eating habits. So that's what that was the exercise, is that it gets us into the game of thinking of what we can do creatively to grow our business. Now, I pulled this off the internet. Look at this. Here's 80% of people don't like to go to a dentist. Why? Because the fear of pain. helplessness, embarrassment. It's all it's there, right there. Well, if you're trying to build your dentist's business, and this is the fear of 80% of people, doesn't it make sense to address these fears and not pretend that they don't exist? See, there's the point here. This is a fact. People are scared of dentists. They don't like dentists. They don't like going to dentists. They don't like needles. They don't like anything to do with a dentist. There's nothing good about a dentist that I like. Okay? Well, if that's the case, let's address that in your promotional materials. I know you're scared of pain, and this is how I handle it. I know you're frightened to be helpless, so this is the way I handle it. I know you're embarrassing. You're embarrassed sometimes, so this is the way we handle it. So the same thing holds in your business. What are the biggest fears of people using a travel agent? Why don't they come to you? Why aren't you getting more phone calls? They're scared that you're going to charge more. You're scared they're going to rip off. They're scared you don't know anything. They're scared. They think they can do it better themselves. I mean, these are the facts. So if these are the facts, let's address them. Let's go right for the jugular. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you can get a better deal on the internet all by yourself. So if that's what it is, those are the facts. Let's address them. Here's a fact. Anyone who calls you for any reason, here's a fact, is going to hang up on you and call your competitor. I know that. You know that. Anyone who hangs up on you is going to go on the internet. Anyone who calls you has already been to the internet. I mean, you're not going to pretend that this isn't the way it works, because this is exactly the way it works. So if it is, let's address it. Let's not be scared of it. Hey, can I get a cheaper airfare on the internet? Of course you can. Yeah, you can. Go ahead. You want a cheap fare? Go on the internet. You can get a cheap fare. Go on cheapbusinessusa.com. You get a cheap fare. Go ahead. Be my guest if that's what you want. I don't think that's what you want, but if that's what you get, of course you can. I can do it myself on it. Of course you can do it. You're not a moron. Go do it yourself on the internet. You can do it. So know what people are thinking, and then we address it. Simple as that. Now, here's something that came over today on the internet, on my LinkedIn browsing today. I belong to a couple of groups that have travel in the name, and I looked at this, and it says, why do online shoppers prefer live chat over email or phone support? That was the question. And the answer from this guy Kevin, this is what triggered my attention. A lot of travel decisions, for a lot of travel decisions, they don't want to get on the phone and start a relationship because they're just looking and they're just beginning to gather information. And if they contact you, they don't want to feel trapped. They're, okay, I called this travel, I'm trapped now. They got my email, I'm in this, holy cow, I'm not going to do that. So they opt for this chat thing, this live chat thing, so they can stay anonymous. Okay. Well, here's my point. If that's the case, if that's the way people are thinking out there, that they're going to live chats with these online programs versus talking to you because they're scared that you're going to grab them, well, then address that. People, come and shop with me. I shop, you shop, everybody shops. You dream. I know you're not taking a trip for 5 years, but let's start dreaming. Come on in. Let's start dreaming. And you welcome people being human. And human is, I don't want to go to the dentist. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to go to a travel agent because they're going to sell me something I don't want. It's going to cost me more than if all of these fears. Well, let's attack those fears and put them away. You can talk to me. I'm not going to jump on you. I'm not going to force feed you. I'm not going to manipulate you. Let's start dreaming. Let's get that dream started. You can come and look at my brochures. You can do whatever you want because people like to dream. So I think a lot of people, because they're either reading the wrong books or going to the wrong classes or they're listening to the wrong people, they're going for the close. Well, I'm afraid people are too smart for that, Fitz. You can, disagree with me if you want, but people are too smart. There's too many options today. There's too many ways they can do something. I've got to get to know you. I've got to feel comfortable with you, and I got to get to the point where you know what you're talking about, and I like your style. I like the way you do things. Then I'll become a client of yours. So be on the lookout in your marketing research. See what people are frightened of. See what they're scared of, and then approach it from that angle. You don't have to be scared with me. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you. So that just came in. These were 3 live examples just came in today, and here's the message before I turn it over to you guys. Don't pretend people are not thinking the way they're thinking, because they are out there thinking, because everyone's giving them stuff to think about. I mean, I don't trust people because people are telling me don't trust them. I'm learning not to trust people because everybody out there is being a goonball. So therefore, I don't trust people. I'm scared to drive in Florida because the 58 million people here have taught me that. They taught me to be scared. They taught me to stay out of parking lots. I mean, just yesterday, 2 people decided to drive through a Dunkin' Donuts window. I mean, I don't know why they do that. That's what they do. But enter the conversation people are already having with themselves, because they're all talking to themselves. And they're saying, oh, travel agent, I don't want to do that, man. They're going to cost me money, and they don't know what they're talking about. And last time I tried one of those, it didn't work. They never call me back. All kind of reasons. Well, if that's what they're thinking, then let's address it. Cheaper? Yeah, you can get it cheaper. Of course you can get it cheaper. You can always get it cheaper. And remember this, folks, and the point of, there's always somebody willing to go out of business faster than you. Okay? Always somebody willing to go out of business faster than you.
He's like looking at it a different way than we were looking at it. So.
All right, now, folks, I think I'm gonna terminate this call because we're not playing by the rules here. That either learn to turn your speakers off on your computer, or go into the next room, or wait for the recording. But I don't want to turn this into a listening to other people run their business on the phone. Internet, you can book yourself on the internet. Go ahead and do it. Wait for a better deal? Sure, you can wait. You can wait till the cows come home. Just keep waiting for that better deal. You can do that if you want. So don't pretend that the world works differently than the world works. That's my message today. Deal with it. Work with it. Don't overcome people's objections. If I'm scared of elevators and you say don't be silly, well, that ain't going to do it. I am scared of elevators. I'm going to stay scared of elevators until I'm ready not to be scared of elevators. Or if I go get some professional elevator help, but not because you tell me something. So work with the reality of what's going on, and people will recognize this. They'll appreciate this. Now, here's another point that came in yesterday on our Facebook page from Sherry. Ladies and gentlemen, you can struggle all you want. If that's what floats your boat, and you want to struggle through this life, then by all means, do it. Have a great time. Do it. But I'm telling you, if you're a good, solid, hard-working person, which you are, and you have a product that's worth talking about, which you do, then you better start asking people if you can help them. And when you do ask people, you're going to get a certain percentage of people allowing you to help them. If you don't ask them, they won't offer.
At the seminar.
But if
and this
you
lady
ask
called
them,
Lynette having a nervous breakdown in Durango.
hold on, no nervous breakdowns. We don't want any nervous
Hold
breakdowns. No. But if you ask people, not everybody. Some people will say, take me off the list. That's okay too. But you have to start becoming confident in what you're doing, because all you're doing is trying to help me make better travel-related decisions. That's what you're doing. That's what you're good at. That's what you get paid for. And if I don't want your help, that's okay with you. If I change my mind, here's my email. But look at Sherry. She started was a $12,000, $15,000 job because she asked. And that's what we have to do, knowing that somebody will say, no, thank you. That's okay. It's all right. But please go to the Facebook and read Sherry's blog or their post there, because that is really, really cool. And the other thing, and I'm going to say this as I remember, I know Chuck is a model entrepreneur in that he's not frightened to try stuff. It all doesn't work, but you try stuff, and eventually some of it will work. And that TRO article today, incidentally, folks, is just how things work. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That it was called Having Fun, I think. It was in Travel Research Online, and I didn't even know it was there until the publisher called me up and said, Mike, you should contact somebody in Alaska because I think they might want to hire you to speak. That just happened today. So I went and looked at today's article in Travel Research Online. I think I sent it to you guys. Well, I wrote that, I think, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I think I wrote that. When I haven't grouted my bathroom. I don't even remember last time I grouted my bathroom. But when I did, that's when I wrote that article. And the message is that your travel-related articles are evergreen, folks. Evergreen means if you don't date them, they don't care when you grouted your bathroom. If the message is there. And most messages travel. They're not, they're not dated like a piece of squash or some bananas. They can go on forever. So when you write an article, I mean, this came back to me 3 years later with a speaking opportunity. I don't know if I'll get it or not. We'll find out. Who knows? Who cares? But the point is that I wrote that a long time ago. And if you start doing things like that, blog posts, and get them out, they're out there. They're going to stay out there on the internet, and good things could happen from it. And this is an example that just happened to me today. I mean, out of the blue that came out. So, okay, so those are the points I want to make today. The phones are pretty quiet now. That's good. There's not a lot of background. So what do we have? Anybody want to kick something off here? I got a lot of folks on the line. Let's try to be, I'll speak at once, but does somebody have an issue they want to share on Open Mic Wednesday?
Okay. Hi, this is Eva. I want to play off of what you mentioned about the blog posts. I had let the blogs kind of lay low for a while and then said, all right, let me try it again. And sure enough, I mean, I announced in my e-blast, go check us out, check our I have 2 blogs, and I'm getting like unbelievable clicks on the blogs. So that's good news. Now, the question is, how do I get those same people who are looking at the blogs to call me?
Well, okay, that's a great question, and the answer is depending on the blog. Two parts to that, Eva. Number one, depending on what you say, I mean, they can click on it, and if it's rubbish, then they're not going to call you. So whatever you put on that blog has to be pretty good stuff. Number two, for you to say, hey, here's my blog, now come and spend some money with me, I think you're jumping the system. What you're saying is, here's my blog, enjoy the post, there's more where this came from, click here, I'll send you an article on Bermuda. I mean, it's got to be a non-threatening, keep the communication going, but you're not going to sell them a cruise around the world based on a blog post. Okay, but it can be so offer something always, folks, always, it doesn't cost you 10 cents. Always say, hey, send me your email and I'll do something for you. I'll send you this. I'll send you an article. Always invite them to come and call you. Stop by the office for a cup of coffee. Don't sell them a cruise. I like to meet you. I like your style. Now, I'm going to share with you, Eva, and the rest of the group, something that I never learned. I'll never forget. When I started out in this business, and it has to do with, just asking people. When I started out in the business, I was giving seminars, and I went to Chicago, and my buddy looked at my brochure, and he says, where are the tapes? And I said, I don't have tapes. I just speak in hotel rooms. He goes, well, I know that, but on your brochure, you don't offer any tapes. And I said, Larry, I don't have any tapes. He says, well, you don't need any tapes if no one buys any tapes, but you're not promoting any tapes. And I couldn't understand what he was talking about. And finally, he said, look, it doesn't cost you 10 cents, but on the brochure, write down if you can't make the program, buy the tapes. And I said, I don't have any tapes. He says, you don't need any tapes. You didn't sell any yet. Just put it on the brochure. So I wrote down on the brochure, can't attend, buy the tapes. Okay, it's being recorded. So then he said, how much are you selling the tapes for? And I said, well, number one, I don't have any tapes, but number two, if I was going to sell them, I don't know, maybe $50. He goes, what are you selling the seat in the seminar for? And I said, $300. He says, what's going to be said on the tape? The same thing that you said at the seminar. And I go, yeah. He goes, well, sell the tapes for $300. It's the same message. And I said, okay. So I don't have any tapes. I said, what if somebody buys them? He says, we'll worry about that later. So I put that sentence on the brochure, and $8,000 later, folks, I had sold tapes, which I didn't have. But Larry said, you don't need them yet. He says, when's your next stop? I said, St. Louis. He goes, call up a radio station, tell them to bring in a tape recorder and tape your presentation, and by 5 o'clock next Saturday night, you'll have tapes. By Monday morning, you'll be able to send out the tapes to the people in Chicago. So the lesson was, if nobody asked for those tapes, I didn't lose. But if somebody asked for them, then I went and got it. So it was a real lesson in market research. Now, it's done all. Why make something if you don't have any? Offer a cruise. If no one goes, who cares? You're not lying to them. You say, if I get enough people, we'll put a cruise together. So always ask people to come and contact it. I mean, it works. It'll be money in your pocket, and it's not cheating. It's not stealing. It's not lying. I mean, you see it. You see it all the time. On geez, only 3 people responded. I really can't give you those tapes, but I'll tell you what I'll do. You know, why don't you and I talk on the phone for an hour, and I'll tell you what I was going to tell you. I mean, there's ways to get around it. But I want you to get out of your comfort zone and go out and test the waters, because it's the waters out there that people are going to tell you what's good or what's bad. You know, they don't like Alaska, they like Bermuda. They don't like Cancun, they might like river cruising. Who knows? Just keep asking. And that's the beautiful thing about the e-books, is you can put together a 5 or 10 page e-book on a lot of things, slap a cover on it, and see who's interested in the subject matter. It'll point you in the right direction. Okay, any other questions there? Anything? Let's open up here.
Well, Dean had the question there after the 100th blog, when to ask for their business. I think it should be an open-ended, that you're always open for business, and there's no specific time to ask for that business because you're not having a personal conversation. So I would leave it as an open-ended.
Now, in what respect? I'm kind of missed that opening point there.
Dean said after the 100th blog and 50 articles full of great tips, when can one ask for the business? I don't think there's really a right time because you're not having a personal conversation. I think it should be open-ended and always open to them to contact you, like you said, for some information, more information, you know, to put them on your their list, you know, so that you can send them information, even if it's 2 years, 3 years down the road, for that dream trip, and to get that communication going. So
yep, and I don't know if this is right, wrong, or indifferent, but the technique I use is I try to say, feel comfortable and welcome, and feel comfortable when you call me. You know, a lot of people, when you call them on the phone and you don't know who they are, there's a little bit of anxiety because I don't know who's going to answer the phone. You know, I don't know. So there's a little intrepidness there. But tell people, hey, give me a call. Feel comfortable to call me anytime. Don't look, you know, don't worry about dinner time. Call me. It's okay. You know, make people feel comfortable. If you're not ready to do business with me yet, that's okay. But if you are, that's okay too. But feel comfortable because I'm not here to hurt you. So, yeah, the answer to your question, anytime is good. Some people take, they kick tires for 6 years before they buy a car, and another guy walks out in a lot and has a car that night. So people's buying cycles are different. So you're 100% right that, there's the chances are, if you're a lousy writer, you don't want to write any blogs because you just shoot yourself in the foot. You're ready to buy something, I'll sell it to you today. And which just brings me to another point, folks, is a good salesman's lesson. When somebody buys something, stop talking. Because a lot of salespeople talk themselves out of the sale after they were in it. So, and a lot of people do that because they want to dump their wagon. They want to show you how smart I am. If you get to a point where it's time to seal the deal, then get the signature and then let the client drive the next move. I've seen that too many times where we continually wax on eloquent and we say something that will hurt us. That's probably sales 201 though. That's down the road. That's a good point though. When people are ready to buy, when they are ready to buy, not when you're ready to sell. We're always open. We're here to help you. We're here to help you. I mean, there's no right time to drown. When you're drowning, I'm the lifeguard. Anybody?
Mike, can I offer a couple of comments on, on blogging and
please? Who's speaking
and
here?
social media? Yeah, it's Ken.
Oh, okay, Ken. Sure, absolutely.
Yep. All great stuff about blogging and knowing the right time to ask, but would you agree, Mike, that it's really about establishing the relationship? And if you comment back and forth with people on blogs or, in social media, eventually they get comfortable with you, and you'll know the right time if you've kind of engaged them a little bit when it's fair to say, you know what, if you got any questions, call me. It's just a new way. It's just a new way of getting to, get people getting to know people.
Well, that's Ken. I agree. I agree 110% if that's possible. Yeah. But let me piggyback on that. And if you go to LinkedIn, folks, and LinkedIn by some phony design in the pecking order of things. And I'm saying, I'm being politically correct here, I think, that it's above Twitter and it's above Facebook. It's kind of like the business squared away social deal, LinkedIn. Okay, anyway, I don't know if it is or isn't, but the point is, if you go there and join different organizations, they have different groups. Now, I join like the travel groups because that's my market. Now, you wouldn't necessarily do that unless you wanted to find out what other people are thinking. You would want to go to some other group, the restaurant group or something, the fish market group, whatever group you want to approach. And then you look to see what they're talking about. And as Ken said, then if you have an answer, you then answer their blog. Now, in truth, you don't need a blog. You don't need to have your own website blog. You just, the fastest and easiest way to get out there known is to go answer other people's questions on their blogs. And then you become the expert, based on your response. And you see they're back and forth, and what about this and what about that? And over time, you do get to feel comfortable with that person. And then you can go to that person, we've been following this blog for a couple of weeks. You sound like my kind of person. Can we talk on the sidebar? Can I give you a call? Can I send you a private email? I mean, you can branch off of that blog. But as Ken said, that back and forth gets you established as somebody who's worth talking to. And then you can branch off. There's no question about that. So I know Joe was talking about starting his own blog. But you really don't have to if you just jump onto other people's blogs and be active, and not travel related, because you're competitors in a sense. But go after another industry, the wine industry. I don't know, whatever you're interested in.
Yeah, Mike, this is Joe. When I'm talking about doing a blog, I'm also doing it for other reasons, not just for the idea of blogging for the sake of blogging. You talked about the e-books. The way I see it, if you're going to research a subject to put it into a blog, you then probably have material for an ebook or material for a ad down the road, or you benefit from the exercise of blogging, not just the blog itself. So when I'm looking at a blog, I'm not looking at the blog itself producing business, but the exercise of creating the blog, being able to sharpen the skills to further business.
Well, that's a home run statement there, Joe. The old saying is, if you want to learn something, teach it. And if you want to get better at what you do, write about it. Because as you say, you're going to be doing the research. And here's a little idea that you just triggered in my thought process, that blog posts, as I mentioned to Joe yesterday on a private call, a blog is your opinion. It's not, doesn't have to be politically correct. It's just the way you think about something, and you're entitled to think any way you want. So, but if you wanted to someday write an ebook or a book or whatever, do so thinking about, okay, I'm going to write a blog post every day of 100 words, 300 words, but I'm going to write it in such a way that if I accumulate 20 of these, I'll have an ebook. So rather than just haphazardly go into the project, kind of have like a long-term idea. Now, when I wrote Become the Exception, it has 38 chapters. I wrote that book from beginning to end in 38 chapters, which was it was an exercise of a moron, because what I should have done in hindsight was written one chapter and offered it as a report. Then a second chapter and offer that as a different report. And then the 6 chapters turned into a section in a book, and the next 6, and I would build that book by selling reports all along the way. So what Joe's saying is, yeah, blog one at a time, but then have a design so you can now glue 12 of them together, and you have a very intelligent ebook.
Hi, this is Eva. I might be missing something. I followed what you said, Mike, a couple of weeks ago about going on other people's blogs and kind of asking questions and responding and kind of demonstrating expertise. But I'm not, I went on these travel blogs just to see what people were doing, and they weren't asking questions. I didn't see any interaction. I basically saw people showing their own expertise. With
right.
Photographs, they took this trip, this is where to go, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see this back and forth interaction on the blogs.
Well, that's because you walked into a shoe store looking to buy a pizza pie.
Okay, help me out then.
Well, you got to go to the right place. You got to go to the right place where people are talking about their industry, not anything that has the word with travel is a competitor of yours. You're not going to sell them anything.
Right. So let's imagine I want to focus on wine because I want to put together a wine tour.
Well, go to LinkedIn and
wine?
look for a wine group. Go to LinkedIn and look for a wine group. There's
you're talking LinkedIn. Okay. All right.
And that's just one example. I mean, there's millions of examples out there. And let me say this: you go to LinkedIn. I'm just picking LinkedIn. I don't know, but you go to LinkedIn and you go to wines and you see, let's say there's 15,000 people in that group. Okay, you're not going to sell a cruise to them. You're going in there to see if you can answer any of the questions. You'll read it. You read and see. Do a little research for 20 minutes every morning. And a lot of those people aren't going to be worth walking across the street for. But there's a few out there that are really sharp cookies. And now that's the finding the Easter egg. They're out there. You have to go find them. They're not going to fall out of the tree. You got to go look behind the tree. So it's not easy. It's not hard, but it's not easy. You got to spend an hour a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever, doing some research. And once you do, it'll get easier, and you'll start knowing what to look for, and it'll just start falling into place. But get out of the travel blogs, I think, and start going into the professional areas where not that travel's not professional, but I mean they're your competition. You have to go after people who are new to you, like the wines. Who else? Did I lose anybody else on that? Sometimes I lose myself, for heaven's sake.
Mike, this is Sue. I haven't done it myself, but I've heard people say that you can go like onto the Huffington Post and look at the different articles, and people put comments on there, and you can search by topic. So if you're interested in people who are talking about wine or people who are talking about food or whatever, that you can go there and you can make comments. I think you have to register with them, but I haven't done it
No,
yet.
the Huffington Post is what Sue was saying. That's a blog. It's a professional blog, and as for my money, for my candid opinion, is that if personally I ever get an article published by the Huffington Post, I will put a gold medal around my neck and wear it around here for a week and a half. meaning that's the real deal. I mean, that's a good place. The Huffington Post is a good place, and if you can get in there and you can say, hey, I've been published on the Huffington Post, people who know. I mean, it's a good rag. So yeah, Sue, that's a great place to go doing research because goonballs don't read the Huffington Post. You know, I mean, it's a real intelligent piece of writing. So yeah, that's a great. I'm glad you brought that up. The Huffington Post. Now, people on the line, not that you're going to write for the Huffington Post, not that you're even going to research it, but go check it out. So next time when I say Huffington Post, you'll say, oh, I was there. I didn't like the thing. You know, just so you've been there. Just go there and check it out. Go to Free Conference Call and check it out. You don't have to do anything, but you just have to become knowledgeable on what's out there. But Sue, thanks for that. Huffington Post, excellent idea.
Oh, it got very quiet.
No.
Oh, well, listen, let me tell you what about quiet is. And I filled it up. I was the guilty one. But that's called the death pause. And the death pause is when a salesman asks a question and the buyer doesn't say anything. And who do you think the next person is to talk?
The salesman.
The salesperson. Right.
Yeah.
So I want. This is a great lesson here. Oli, pay attention. Oli is a lesson. That remember the death pause. When you ask a question, stop talking. Now I'm going to show you how uncomfortable it is. Watch this.
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, somebody. I'm telling you. After 3 seconds, you have people run into the bridge. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, all right. This is Eva. I'll ask a follow-up question to my blog question. So I send out these e-blasts for the past 2 weeks, and I'm pushing my website, and I'm also talking about, check out the blogs. And I can see how many clicks. I'm getting maybe a couple of clicks on the website and like 90 clicks on the blogs. I really want to bring people to the website. So why do you think people are...
Oh, you there?
You know what? This is Phyllis. I want to just say, because everybody's got a website. There's a million websites out there, and it's probably, they're just overwhelmed, and it's just, they're not interested. But the blog, it's something they're interested in. So if that's working, I think I would kind of concentrate on that.
Well, also, Eva, are you still on the line? You cut off.
Oh, yeah, I am.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, listen.
She was listening.
You said something by mistake. You said something by mistake that I'm going to jump on. And what you said is, I'm pushing my people to my website.
Yeah.
Well, it's pushing people is like pushing a rope. You can't push a rope from wall to wall. How do you get a rope from one side to the other? You pull a rope. You don't push a rope. Well, you don't push people to your website. You pull them to your website. And you pull them there by having something there worth looking at. Now, if I go to your website and it just tells me everything about you, I mean, that's suicide. If that's what you want people to go to, hey, come on, look at me. Everyone go to my website. Look at me. That's not it.
Yeah, like what you showed us earlier. You're right.
Go to the website to download this article on how to make $1 million. Go to my website to look at this article, to click on a button, to join the club, to be one of the first 3 to get into the seminar. I don't know, some reason why you go to the website, not to say, hey, I got a website, how cool am I? Because Phyllis is right. Website, who cares about websites? I mean, they're yesterday's news. You know, how are you going to
Sorry.
help? How are you going to help me? You know, how that's all. The only person I'm interested in is me. How can you help me? Well, I can help you by going to my website to download the article on how to help you.
Eva, it's Phyllis again, and I have to say, that's amazing that you have that many people clicking on the blog. I'm not a great writer, so I'm impressed with that. And so continue with that. Don't focus on something that's not working, or that's not working as well as you would like it. But you have something going good, so focus on that.
Yeah, focus on what is, yeah.
Eva, can you put a link to your blog on the Inner Circle Facebook page?
Say it one more time.
Can you put a link to your blog on the Facebook page for the Inner Circle? So
Oh, sure.
Okay. All right, Eva, here we go.
Can I ask something that's off the topic, off the subject?
Yeah, but you can, if there's a telephone, pick it up and speak into the telephone.
I'd have to call in. I can't just pick up my phone.
You're on your speaker, your microphone. Okay, well, get a little bit closer to it then.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. This is completely off the subject, but I need advice. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. This is Sue. I have a group, and Mike, this is the group that I did the conference call with.
Yes.
And the group leader is the grandmother, and it's a multi-generational group. And I'll try to make this a short story. And I've been working with them for several months on this cruise, and it seems like everything I do in her eyes is wrong. Now, 99% of the time, my clients are very happy with me, so I don't think it's me. I'm not taking it personally. But I think that what it is that she's very anxious about spending all this money, and somehow she's taking it out on me, and to the point of being even a little mean or nasty at times. And I'm just not sure how to handle it. I mean, I've been trying to be very nice, but at some point, it's like I want to just say, screw you, which of course I don't. But it's getting, the cruise is soon. It's March 31st, so I don't have to put up with it for long. But it's like, at what point do you say, don't treat me this way?
Well, it's without seeing how you handle yourself in front of her, without seeing how she handles herself in front of you, I can't offer a very intelligent response to that. However, I will say this. In this particular instance, call it an exercise, I don't want you to do anything until April 1st.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, don't rock you'll get through this one. But if it ever happens again, communication, I mean, stop it. Say, I see something's wrong. I see you're not sure. I see you're not happy. What's going on? I know that it's a lot of money, but tell me exactly what's bothering you. Confront it, I guess is the word, and don't pretend it's not there. It goes back to an earlier slide. She is thinking what she's thinking.
Right. And I think
you've got to say, I see that. I see by the way you're just handling yourself. You're not comfortable, and this is not good. How can what do we need to do to make you comfortable? Now, that being said, there's something that's called chemistry.
Yeah.
You can do everything in a whole. Some people just don't like you. I mean, I turn on a TV set and I see some woman walk into the room. I turn to my wife. I say, I don't like her. So she's on a TV, hasn't said anything yet. But you know what I mean? It's just something that people can make. Probably because she reminded me of some slug I knew 25 years ago. I don't know.
Here's a very specific small example of what I'm talking about. And I am learning from this. I've learned a lot. I've learned that I really need to make it clear what my services include and what my role will be and what their role is. But anyway, she called me and she said, we've all been calling Royal Caribbean, which first of all, I want to say, why are you doing that? You should be calling me. And she said, we're very concerned about the dress code on formal nights because you told us that we didn't have to wear formal gowns, but they're telling us that you do, or fancy cocktail dresses. And, I spent a lot of time explaining the reality to her, and I don't think she trusts me.
Can I chime in for a sec?
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead, Eva. Wait.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Sue, are you, wait a minute, Eva. Stand back.
Yeah.
Sue, are you done yet?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
No, but I mean, is there something else you want to paint before we comment?
No, that's okay. There's tons more, but that's enough.
Okay.
Well, I would have, first of all, before Eva talked, I would have said, why are you calling them? You can, of course, here's the number, but why, why would you want to confuse the issue?
I did say that, and she said, well, you're not always available, which is a total lie. I answer my phone all the time. I return messages immediately. It didn't matter what I said.
Okay, this is I had the first group that I had was a very difficult person. Two things. Are you going on the cruise with them?
No.
Okay, that might be part of it because she's a little worried that there is not going to be anybody there if anything comes up. So that's number one. And I think it's also human nature. She's setting it up so that if there's any glitches, it's not her fault, it's all going to be your fault. So if it's successful, she will take complete, credit. And if there's anything that doesn't go exactly, the way she's expecting,
that's good.
It'll be blamed on you. And I think that's a human nature thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with that because I think you're dealing with a very insecure person. And I think the answer you got is correct that we see this with teachers. They seem to be very insecure, and they'll ask the same question of 10 people and pick the answer they want, but they want to make sure that they do get the credit for something good, but they're not going to take the blame for what went wrong. The other place I've seen this happen is somebody with dementia. I'm serious.
But you know what? Now, when I put groups together, they ask me, will you come on the group? And I set it up so that I will. This way, it takes all the worry off of their shoulders, and it's my job.
And
you know what I mean? So I guess
there's two things. Number one, you do if you can, and if it's economical and you can do it. Going on a group is good because it takes care of the group, but it also gives you an opportunity to connect with the other 10, 20, 30 people on board for future business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, and here's the lesson I think you're getting off today's call, Sue, make sure you document everything clearly.
Yeah.
So if this woman does pull a fast one on you, you can pull up page 5 and say, here's where I mentioned that to you on the phone. Not to play defense.
But,
I was going to say, I have an hour-long recording, so I can tell her everything. I have that.
Yeah, but I think, just kind of taking it full circle, Mike, with what you talked about, enter the conversation people already have in their minds. Maybe be upfront and say, I understand that, you might be worried that this isn't going to go, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to really just kind of, and then just say, I understand that you're feeling this way and it's completely reasonable to feel this way? Does that make any sense?
Well, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, that's what communication's all about. And there's an old saying, I'm going to couch this. Only Joe and Chuck probably, and maybe Ole knows what I'm going to say, and that is, never trust a man who won't call you a blankety blank to your face.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
Joe. I mean, Joe, I'm bruised what you called me the other day, but I trust you now more than ever. But the point is that if she's feeling that way, Sue, and you're feeling that way, I mean, you two are feeling that way.
If I may jump in here.
Yeah,
one of the things, and I don't know the proximity of this group to you, but I would suggest if you haven't already gone over tickets with them, get them together as a group, whether it be in a restaurant or one of their homes, and go over those documents and the procedures for the cruise with the entire group at one time. This will take that person off the hook entirely as far as if anything should go wrong. It gives you an opportunity to get in front of the rest of the group.
Well, Joe, they're all in Minnesota and I'm in Florida, but I did this with a conference call. I used, Mike's suggestion, and we had a group conference call. They weren't all there, but the grandparents were there and a few of the kids were there. And I recorded it and I sent them all the links so that if they needed to hear it, and we went over all that in the call.
Okay.
I have a feeling it doesn't matter how many times I go over something with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they also all have all of your contact phone numbers? So if any issue arises, they can contact you directly on the cruise.
That's a good point. Well, they do. They have my number, but I'll encourage them to use it if they need it, I guess.
Yeah, this way they know that it doesn't all fall on this one woman, and they can call you if there's any questions.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so I think that you've grown professionally 1,000% as a result of this woman.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah, I think it's all good. It's all good.
Another recommendation, this is Phyllis, is there somebody else you can put like in second command? Is that maybe is a little bit easier to deal with it, that you have the conference call that maybe you feel like you have a better rapport with?
Yes.
Not to minimize her.
No, I know, but one of her daughters that from the beginning, or daughter-in-laws, that she even encouraged me to work with her, which I was trying to do. Yeah.
Well, the purse strings too.
Yeah.
So what is your worst fear out of this?
I guess that's a good question. She is part of this. I twice a week I provide travel services to a community in one of these self-contained communities. There's 1,200 homes, and I guess my worst fear is that she's going to come back and bad rep me somehow and hurt my reputation there.
Yeah, so that has repercussions. Can you contact her periodically throughout the cruise? You're just checking in, making sure she's happy and everyone is happy.
I can try, but I don't think she'll be in communication.
Sorry?
I will offer that, but I don't think she's in communication. She won't have a cell phone or email during the cruise.
And once she gets on the boat, it's going to go fine. It's going to go great.
I'm sure it will.
She's a nudge. Hey, listen, if you really want baptism by fire, I'll hook you up with my Aunt Mimi.
Well, thanks for all the advice, everyone. I appreciate it.
Good luck. Now we can't wait to hear how it went.
She may become your biggest adversary in this community.
What's that, Joe?
She may become your biggest adversary in this community.
Well,
I agree.
Yeah, it could work the other way. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, listen.
I'll stay optimistic.
I'm not going to. And I'm not going to embarrass anybody like we never do. But the initials. You don't have to say anything. But if the initials GC, if you have anything you'd like to toss out in your initial meeting, now's the chance. I'm not going to say any names or anything, but I know that you're listening. I'm glad you're with us. GC, anything from you? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. If not, we're going to move on.
We can see the names, Mike.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, holy cow. All right, never mind. Well, anyway, Georgiana, I'm so glad you're here. I hope Joe Biden didn't scare you away.
No, not at all.
Hey, Georgiana, they're really nice people. They really are. They mean well. Hey, anybody, anything else? Well, we have 4 more minutes.
Well, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a quote that I used today. I ran my BNI meeting today because the president wasn't there.
This is Ole speaking, folks.
So I got a quote, and I just quick comment on the difficult customer. I just went through my first business incentive group, and it was 2.5 months of hell. And never have I worked so hard for so little, but I learned valuable lessons that's going to make the next group like that a success. So I brought up a quote today, and I just want to share it.
Okay, go ahead, Ole. Good.
Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm, and that was spoken by Sir Winston Churchill.
Holy cow! I thought that was me.
Nah, I can change the name to protect the guilty. Anyways.
What's comforting, thanks, Ole, for sharing that. What's comforting, folks, is that in most cases you can't invent anything new. I mean, it's just all a lesson, and it's all the journey. And we have some good people, we have some difficult people, and we just keep, as Ole said, we just keep going on and on and on until we can't go any further. And hopefully we have more marbles to the right side than the left. But you have to keep your sense of humor. Hey, go on the internet if you want. Of course you can do that if that's what you want. Go to the competitor if that's what you want to do. Let people do what they want to do. But you don't lose your enthusiasm for the good work that you're bringing to the industry, because that's what you're doing.
Mike, can I just interject one other thought?
Yes, please.
you know, it is an up and down roller coaster ride a lot of times, and groups like yours make that journey a lot easier because you point out, and with other people's help, you know, the things that are going right and not worry about the things that seem to go wrong. So, you know, when things aren't going right, lean on some mentors, lean on you, I have some other cruise holidays owners that I really admire and I talk to occasionally, including Chuck, who's on the line.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when things aren't going quite right, or you have, you know, you're not quite concerned, or your confidence is down, talk to somebody. It helps.
And that's great advice. And you can be anybody in your location or your BNI group or anybody, but everybody needs a listening ear, number one, somebody who knows what you're going through, and then a reminder that you know, it's time to get back to work. So you're 100% right. Okay, so I think that's this is going to be recorded for anybody who wants to revisit it or send it on. And
Mike.
Yes.
This is Dean.
Yes, Dean. Hey, Dean. Dean from Canada.
Can I ask one last question?
Absolutely, my friend.
And this may need to be deferred to another week, but one of the big things I think we need to dive in and discuss a little bit more is, especially when you're meeting new people, and especially if it's coming from the internet, if it's coming from people reading your blogs or your articles or going to your website, whatever, right, is to understand that what most people are thinking when they're calling somebody and looking at doing some kind of a travel or a cruise or whatever it is, they're thinking that they're speaking to a salesman like when you go into a shoe store. And you go into a shoe store and say, hi, I'm looking for, I see this pair on the wall, how much is it, and can you get me a size 8? And they're not thinking that they got to start a relationship or, you know, get to know you or anything like that. They pretty much want you to stick to, I want a size 8 and I want that style. Do you have it, and what's the cost? And if I like it, I'm going to try it on, I'm going to buy it. And I think, how do you turn that around to teach or educate, to get people to think of, well, the process of doing something travel is a whole different ballgame.
Well, I think that's part of the education, Dean. And when you say, you call me up, I say, Dean, before we go any further, let me tell you, there's two sections to my company. There's the quote section, where I'll just give you a number on the phone and wish you have a good day, go compare me with everybody else. And the other section is where I spend most of my time, is helping people design their vacations for them. So you know, you want what department do you want? You want a number here, 325. Have a nice life. Bingo, gone. Versus, hey, let's talk and get to know each other so we can make this a good vacation. So, you know, people like choices. You want the quote here? What's the lowest one you heard on the internet?
So you quickly basically blow off the people that call on the phone. Oh, you know, I was on your website, blah blah blah. Can you get me a price on River Cruise 1, 2, 3 on Avalon? So would you just answer them back, yeah, I can get you a price, but that's not really how I work? Would you say it that way?
Yes, I would. I wouldn't be caustic. I wouldn't sound fresh. I'd say, you know, the guy called me. Thanks for calling me. There's 8 billion numbers you could call. You called mine. Let me just tell you that there's two areas I could play the match game, but which I don't do. You know, pick a number, $400. There you go. If that's what you want to hear. Or what I do is I get involved with my clients, and it's a lot more detailed than that. Now, by that time, the guy probably would have hung up anyway if he's just looking for a number. So,
well, you know, typically what I'll do is when somebody does that, I'll first ask them, why did you pick this cruise? And if they say the price, I'm going to give them a price. But if they say, well, somebody told me it was nice, well, what's nice about it? You know, what is it you want to see? What do you want to get out of this experience? What are you wanting to do? If the conversation's going downhill and all they want is a price, like Mike said, give them a price. Chances are, if they're out there fishing for what they want to do, they're going to continue the conversation with you. And they're going to realize through that conversation that, hey, there's probably a little more to this than I realized, and maybe I do need to talk to somebody a little further to get exactly what I'm wanting.
And okay. Joe, unbeknownst to you, the way you answer the phone, the way your voice says, hey, Joe, bye, how are you today? As soon as you say something to me, I'm going to position you on either I'm going to hang with this guy a little longer or I'm not. So you can set up a dialogue with coming across as the friendly person you are. Now, that's a skill. But, I mean, I talk to people on the phone for 20 minutes or I talk to them for 2 seconds. I mean, that's the way it is. So,
I
Dean,
talked the wrong numbers for 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's bingo. So the way
I
you
guess,
answer the
what we
phone,
want to prevent ourselves to is wasting a lot of our time. So that's why I guess the trick, when someone calls and they say, hey, I'm looking at doing this cruise, what's the price? Or can you give me a price, blah, 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 blah. Is that kind of a red flag, or is it just that's the only thing they know
Not
to
always,
do?
and that's where, not always. I think that's where you just have to feel it out.
Yeah.
If you ask a couple of questions and they really don't want to go any further, they just want a price, then give them the price.
Yeah, no, this is Eve. I agree with you. Ask the qualifying questions, and by asking the questions, you're establishing a relationship. But I recently, because it's wave season, I'm getting people who have traveled on these cruises. They know exactly the ship. They know where they want their cabin to be, and so they don't need, my advice. They really just want the price and the amenities. But I do find that out. I do try to establish a little relationship. And but I'm not going to over-talk it and lose the sale. If they know what they want and they like the price and they want to work with me, I book them.
Say they don't know if they want to work with you. They're just checking your price. They're going to hang up and call the next 10 people.
There's nothing
exactly
else.
What they're going to do. When they find out everybody has the same price, they're going to get tired, and whoever they talk to last is going to get the business.
Yeah,
but now here's another little under the two-step approach, Dean, is that you say, I appreciate the fact that you're out shopping for a price on the cruise, but let me send you a little document that I've said how to make the selection when you're shopping. Give me your email. I'll send you the 5 tips on how to shop for a cruise. Because this guy doesn't know the rate. All he's asking is how much. There's more to it than that. You don't know what those questions are. Let me send you the intelligent questions. So when you go shopping, you'll be able to compare apples and apples. So now, hey, he could still hang up on you, but if he doesn't, now you have his email, and in 3 days you can go back and say, hey, where are you in the shopping process? And you'll be the only agent that follows up with him.
Okay.
So all you need is a little document of how
would
to
you
shop
give him
for
the
cruises.
Yeah.
So Mike, would you go ahead and give the price, or would you not?
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, you don't have a look. I don't want people taking advantage of me. There is going to be a certain percentage that do. It's still, I take it very personally, but I'm learning, and Mike, you're really helping, and the group is helping, making it less personal for me. What I'm trying to do now is just investing a lot less time in the price shopping. So someone who I don't have a relationship with, who is just shopping the price, I'm not going to spend hours and hours researching for them.
But keep in mind, though, keep this in mind. This is very important. People are entitled to shop. It's okay. They're not bad people. But you're just not. They don't demand an hour of your time to shop yet. So give them the number, Dean, and then invite them back. And the way you do that with your voice and your tone, they'll either feel comfortable to come back or not. But shoppers are a good thing. You do it, and I do it. So how can we badmouth them?
And I usually don't give the price immediately. I ask them for their phone number or their email address and tell them that I'm going to get them the best price possible and get back to them, and then that's a way you can stay in contact if you want.
Yeah, but wait a second though. See, I disagree with that. If I'm starting to dream about buying a new car, I'm going to buy a new car. Maybe not today, but I'm going to buy a new car. So Saturday, I'm going to walk on to 15 car lots to see what's out there. And if I go up to a salesman and say, hey, how much is that blue one? And if he doesn't tell me, I'm never going back there again. Because that's an intelligent question. How much is that car? And if they start treating me like a moron, then they're talking to the wrong guy. So people are entitled to ask questions, and they're entitled to get answers. But see, the question
you can't always give the on a car lot. You may know the sticker of the price might be there, and it's $39.99. You know what I'm saying? But if he says I want a price on a cruise for this date, blah 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 blah, you have to. It takes you 5 minutes to go and look it up and get the price, and you might have to ask a couple of questions and stuff like that. So you can't just say the price in 2 seconds.
No, but you can say, Dean, that price, that car as is $3,000. Depending on what you put on it, could go as high as $7,000. That cruise is bare bottom sitting in in the kitchen is anywhere from $250, and if you go up a little bit, it could be as much as $800. But how much is a house? I need some more information to answer that question.
Okay,
but I mean, I still want an answer. Okay, it's about $48 a square foot. Well, that's an answer. So
okay,
people
but they probably want a more
answer.
specific price, right? They want a price quote,
Well, I can't give you that until you tell me if you want a balcony or not, or
Okay, they'll say, but say they gave you that information. They say, I'm thinking of this date. I'm looking at a celebrity reflection. It's March 30th, and I want a balcony guarantee. Would you go and get me a price? Would you quote me a price?
All right, Joe By, would you?
Yeah, I'm going to give them the price, and if we're not going to develop a rapport, we're going to go on. I'm not going to waste my time.
But there are some
if I
questions.
develop a rapport through that conversation while I'm giving them a price, then my odds of getting the business just got better.
If someone's asking for a balcony guarantee, they know what they're talking about, and I guess at that point, all they really want is a price. You have to hear what they're asking.
Yeah, well, it depends on the conversation. It's.
But going back to Mike's, we're trying to translate an experience on a car lot to a travel experience, right? So that we can all relate to it. Because we've all had it. We've had the guy call us cold on the phone. I was on your website, blah 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 blah, and I'm planning on taking a cruise, in the next 2 weeks. I want to go on, and they know exactly what they want, and and they said, would you give me a price? And Mike says, give him a price. I guess what we're trying to find out
They
is
already knew the price when they called you.
what are the chances of somehow turning that guy who's just really looking for a price, so that maybe he will consider not just after we give him the price to give us his business.
Well, that's it. He knew the price before he even called you. He's
exactly.
In my opinion, he's looking for who he wants to do business with, and how you handle that individual is whether you're going to get the business or not. So he wants a price, you give him a price, and then you talk to him. Are you traveling with other people after you give them the price? Is this a group you're going with? Is there more people involved? You're going to be visiting this island. Have you ever considered when you go there maybe doing something like this? If he doesn't want to have that conversation, move on. If he wants to have that conversation, you're building rapport. Now you may be the last guy that he stopped to get the price from that was the same as the three that he talked before. Some point he's going to stop because everybody had the same price. You want to be the person he stops with. That's the goal. He already knew the price before he called you.
Yep, or he wants to yeah, you're right. And Dean, it's the way you handle the phone call. I mean, if you're going to lose some, then you're going to gain some. There's no script here, Dean.
Right, but I'm asking for tips. Like you just said there, I thought it was a great idea when you said, when you're on the car lot, and if the guy said, no, I don't want to give you a price, because I want to get more information from you, and you'd say you'd walk away, right? So I'm tempted a lot of times if I sense that people are just kicking the tires, as they say, right? I'll try to blow them off right away, but maybe there's a different approach. We're looking for tips. In the end, we're all
the wrong guy's doing the blow off here. The salesman who blows me off because I walk in with cut off jeans is an idiot. See, if you blow off somebody, you're the salesman. If you blow them off because you think they're shopping, you're making a mistake. Me, the shopper, I can blow you off easy because there's a lot more where you came from. But you can't. You don't know who you're talking to. I mean,
you don't.
You don't. You're selling it, but you're just not going to give away a bunch of your time. But you're going to answer their question and say, "Hey, where are you sitting right now? Is it cold up there? I bet I'm warmer than you are." I mean, that's what I use all the time, and all of a sudden it gets us chuckling, and we're on a nice phone call that we can communicate freely.
Get them talking. I say get them talking about themselves. It's Phyllis. And, somehow engage that conversation so it's about what they want, what they're thinking. And before you know it, you do build that relationship. And they might not just be shopping, but sometimes you just got the shopper and you just got to go with it and be efficient.
So Mike, again, what I'm learning from what you're saying is you may walk into the car dealership and coming out, you want a price on a car, right? But if the salesman maybe starts off by saying something to you like, "Isn't it a beautiful day?" or "What a great day to buy a car," or I don't know, that's what I'm saying. It seems like you know how to how to change the person from thinking just about price to about how much fun he's going to have in a new car or something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if I walk on a 5 car lots, and this is I'm putting my feelings on my sleeve here. I walk on a 5 car lots and pretend I'm shopping for a car. I'm almost willing to bet you my 3rd child that 4 of those guys are morons. One of them, I'm going to walk away and say, boy, that was a nice guy. Now, how did I get that opinion? It's the way they handle themselves. That's how they do it. The way they look me in the eye, and the way they shake my hand, and the way they offer their name, the way they treat my wife if I'm with her. I mean, it's the personal approach. It's so much fun to get a strange phone call to see if you can flip that guy to like you.
Yeah, you make a game out of it, really.
Yeah, I mean, and it's because your competition, I'm telling you, your competition stinks. They think the world owes them a living, and it doesn't.
Mike, it's Ken.
Yes.
Can I butt in for a sec?
Yes, Ken.
And Joe, I'd really like to hear what you think about what I'm about to say. You know, I've been sitting here listening to this conversation. You know, the dean's looking for tips. And one of the things that comes to mind when we've all had the tire kickers and the shoppers, and quite often when we get them on the phone, you can almost, for me personally, I feel it in my, this guy's just kicking tires, right? And he just wants a price. But part of the thing that we want to try and do, is, as Mike has said, and I think Joe, you said the same thing, is to get them to stop calling at you. And if they just want a price, would it be worthwhile, okay, great. So we got a price. We all know it's probably going to be the same price because he shopped about 6 different times. Say, you know what, Mr. Customer, the price today on that balcony guarantee is $250. And it includes the cruise holidays or the XYZ travel service plan, free of charge. And when I'm saying that, now the service plan or whatever, it can be your own kind of like little elevator speech, but basically what it is it's a method to get that customer re-engaged and ask another question so you can continue the conversation and give you the opportunity to tell yourself a little bit more about what you do as a travel agency service provider.
I agree with that. And yes, and I apologize. I don't know the person's name that said it. You want them to start talking about themselves. You want to ask some open-ended questions where they're going to talk more about. People like to talk about themselves. That's everybody's number one fan is themselves. So you give them what they want. You satisfy that goal, and then
service plan's a good idea, though. I like that.
You have interest
I like
in
that
go
service plan idea, Ken.
Yeah.
I mean,
just
what
something
is that?
to get them to ask another question. That's all.
Yeah, no, I like that. What's the service plan? Now, I don't necessarily say you give it for free because, quite honestly, I don't agree with you folks if you're saying I can match their price, because I can't match their price because I cost more. But with me, you're going to get more. See, if you're into the match game, then go. You got 15 quotes. Go pick one. If you have $8,000, mine's $8,500. Do we still? Why? Because you're paying for. There's something more when you work with me. Now, if you don't want that, then I got to go find someone who does. But just matching it, I don't. I think you're selling yourself short there. It doesn't have to be a $500 difference, but you're paying for the service plan. I mean, we just told Sue to keep her cell phone open for a week while this lunatic runs around the ocean. Well, Sue should get paid for that. She's going to answer the phone at 3 in the morning. I mean, that's not free. You're not entitled to that because that's the way it goes. So don't sell yourself short. Well, of course it's added value. That's the only reason I'm talking to you, because if you don't bring added value, I'll go to the internet. I can book a cruise on the internet.
I use the free of charge thing. Just as it doesn't have to be free, but it's just a method to get that customer to ask another question so you can re-engage them and
Yeah.
give them the
I like
opportunity
that a lot.
to tell
Yeah,
you,
I
to
like
tell
that.
you, so you can tell them more about what you do.
Yep. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's the more you talk to me, the more you're going to decide if you like me or not, right?
Exactly.
Hey, well, listen, I think we're going to have to cancel this. We're right at the hour 20 minutes. I think my machine's going to explode in a minute, but it looks like we'll have more to talk about on the next open mic. But
That's because that's probably going to be fun. You're going to play golf soon.
No, Dean, I'm not. I work right up until 6 o'clock tonight or whatever.
Your tea time's at 1:30. I know.
Hey, Dean's on to me, for heaven's sakes. All right. Well, listen. I hope we covered some ground here. It was fun having this. This is probably the most lively discussion we had. I hope it's the beginning of many more to come. Email me with any questions. Dean, if you want to call me, give me a buzz. I can call you. I can talk to you between the first and the second tee. And everyone, have a good afternoon, and thanks for contributing today.
Have a good one.
Thank you,
Bye,
Mike.
everybody. Bye.
See ya.